Thank you very much.
Hey, it's Kaufman is Alive. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at a new comic book, the newest issue of Dragon, number 276 by Image Comics. Erik Larsen is the writer and artist and creator of Dragon. He's written and drawn every single issue up to 276, up to this one. Really the only comic book you can say that about anymore. I love that it's still the same numbering that we've got from way back in issue 1. It's never been rebooted. It's the same series that I've been reading since I was a kid when it first came out. Again, one of the few series you can say that about. You could say that about Spawn too, but it has not been written and drawn by the same guy every single issue. In this issue, we got Amy Dragon, who's the daughter of Malcolm Dragon, teaming up with Walter, the half tiger, half man here. They've got an interesting relationship, for sure. He's kind of a grown man. He's hanging out with this young child here. But her parents let it happen. He's a friend of the family, basically. Kind of like an uncle. Although, in Erik Larsen's twisted mind, who knows where their relationship could lead. But I love the old school aesthetic of the logo up here, too, where it says Image Comics Group, like Marvel Comics. They've got the Image logo where the Comics Code Authority would be. I got the B cover. The A cover is the same as this, except it's got a blue sky in the background and there's no old school logo at the top. So I also love these corner panels too, like the old Marvel ones. So $3.99 book, obviously. Also, I love how Larsen draws all the city here in the background. Throughout this whole issue, we get some shots of like the city in San Francisco here. And like in this shot here. And I know in previous issues he was using actual found images and just kind of pasting them and tracing over them, inking over them. But I think here he's actually just drawing them from memory or maybe from sight. But he's not doing digital anymore. These are all, you know, pencil and inks. For a while he was using some digital drawing, but I love the pencil and ink style that he does. It just looks so much better. Again, kind of an old school Marvel feel to this right when you open up the book with the title logos here on this first splash page. And then we get a double splash page. This is really well done. She's going, Mama sleeps all day. She's so bored. And Walter's like, where is your dad? And then we just flash this double splash page. And this is the only time in the whole book we actually see Dragon and everybody. And they're all fighting these robots. Dragon's got his arm growing back here. He's got a skinny arm. We've got the new Super Patriot. And he's got the old Super Patriot like remains on his back here. And we've got Paul Dragon, who's taken on the form of the original Dragon here. So really awesome double splash page. Amy wants to go on an adventure with Walter because she's bored. Then we get the other subplot here going on. There's this bum rummaging through this trash can, and he drinks this liquid out of this canister here and gives him some sort of superpowers. And throughout the whole book, all of his dialogue is just a description of what it would be, but not actually what it is. So it says, haggard moans and incomprehensible utterances punctuated by burps and other bodily emissions emanating from God knows where. So they're going to ask Mom if they can go out. She just kind of mumbles. He says, I heard yes. Good enough for me. So they go out to an adventure. She says that he should go to the zoo, and he says he's half man, so the tigers would eat him alive. And then we see this guy who I guess is like a scientist or something, and he was working on whatever this guy just drank, and he's been let go by his job, and they're like, they just threw all his useless crap off his desk, they said, into the dumpster, and he's like, oh shit, and so he's jumping into the dumpster to try and find his elixir or whatever he had on his desk there. I don't know. I don't think this character's ever shown up before. I don't know who he is. He says Mr. Queen. But very cartoony way of drawing this character. I always love how Larsen draws every character with totally different facial pieces and features. Makes everyone look distinct here. So we see this bum who got super powered, and he comes across all these MAGA guys who I guess are just beating up other bums. And at the same time, Amy and Walter go to like this rally. We see like an Elon Musk archetype looking guy here giving a Nazi salute. He even says awkward Nazi salute. And all the speech in here is just like the bum too. It just says veiled threats, overt racism and misogyny, long-winded echoing diatribe made incomprehensible by distracting reverb. And then the bum just shows up and just kills this Elon Musk type guy. It says loud but unintelligible utterance. Everyone starts running and screaming. They don't understand what's going on, what happened here. I love the shot of this guy, the bum, the super-powered bum here, who actually gets named a little bit later here in this book, which I'll get to. I think it's a great name. So Amy jumps into action because no one else is there, punches the guy, but he shoots right back at Amy and blasts her, and Walter thinks that she's been killed. And when I was reading this, I thought she probably was too, because death happens pretty consistently in Savage Dragon, and you just never know who's going to die next. But she reveals that she's fine. She just got her clothes all ripped off and burned, which is pretty awkward. So she uses Walter's sweatshirt and puts that on. And she jumps back into action and punches the bum out of the sky, and then he just blows up. Frockadoom. Got Jack Morelli doing all the lettering in here and sound effects. He does a great job. So this is where Walter, he names him. He goes, "What happened to the atomic bum?" She goes, "I'm not exactly sure," but then they run over and find him, and he's all burned up. Amy says, "What was that? Just some kind of atomic fart?" And he says, "Pained moan." So then they take Amy into custody, though, the police do, and say that they're going to need to question her, and that's the end of the issue. So the entire issue is just this adventure between Amy and Walter. Nothing you really need to go out of your way to read or anything, but if you're a fan of Savage Dragon, definitely pick this up. A really fun issue. Of course, we get a letters page, the Finn Addicts, as we always do. And we get a backup story here starring Aquarina and Serena. Kind of a team up here. I don't know who Serena is, but the Aquarina backup stories are pretty consistent here in Dragon. They find this weird thing underwater. Mako is here from Savage Dragon Comics. And it kind of teleports them together. And they're just trying to figure out what this thing is. They're studying it. And Mako ends up helping all these kids in some sort of like demonstration of sharks or something. Just a really kind of silly issue. Some cool artwork though. Kind of reminds me of like Mike Allred's artwork here. It's by Paolo Leandri. And the script here is by Adam McGovern and Dave Kelly. And it ends on a cliffhanger. And so I guess it'll be continued in the next issue of Dragon. But cool back cover, almost a Kirby-esque kind of design if you ask me. But that's it, Savage Dragon.